Alright, this one is called philosophical instrument. Now, as we know, not many persons may know that the spectrum of our philosophical instruments are very wide. So the spectrum of philosophical instruments are wide. What are philosophical instruments really? Philosophical instruments are in different realms, right? It can be something you can touch like a book. It can be something that you can drink like alcohol. It can be something you can smoke as weed or cigarette, whatever. Right? It's sometimes something that you can feel. Those are philosophical instruments. Persons who feel would, I would say, express their philosophy in music. So they are the feeler of feelings. Right? And when you become the feeler of feelings, you find various ways to express oneself, because the expression, as I said, it has no limit as to how persons can express themselves. Right? Now, the idea of using, say, a book as example, many persons use like the Bible as example to showcase musical expression. Right? Sometimes the music is uplifting, sometimes it is downgrading, right? Depending on the spectrum in which it is used in this case, right? So therefore, when understanding philosophical instrument, you have to understand it on both levels, right? Because using philosophical instrument will bring you into a realm in which it helps you manifest things that is just coming back at you. Imagine the expression that you use in expressing using a philosophical instrument. It helps. It's like a snake that is always chasing its tail. Right? So that's the idea of a philosophical instrument. When it is used in the correct way, then persons may not be worried about what they have, their deeds that they have planted. Right? So now, say we use like the Bible as example, the book. The book is, say, the Bible, which use, say, Proverbs and Psalms. Proverbs and Psalms are like two forms of expression. You express yourself musically, that would go for the, say, the Psalms in itself. And Proverbs would go to a more depth from music, right? And using, say, a Proverbs as a philosophical instrument, it brings you deeper into, say, music. It brings you deeper into, say, movies. It brings you deeper into, say, nature or creation itself. So that's just how deep the philosophical instruments can bring you within self, or within the external world itself, right? Now, when you look at, say, alcohol as example, alcohol is something, as we know, this is not for kids really, but careless parents still do that and give their kids alcohol in some cases, right? I'm guilty of that as well. So even though it is a technique, it is a philosophical instrument, gives you clarity sometimes, or different perspective onto different ideas or thoughts or whatever, right? So that's what philosophical instruments are like: a microscope, a telescope, or a kaleidoscope, right? So the kaleidoscope is something that brings inside objects closer to you, as to what the external telescope bring outside object closer to you in this case, right? Depending on how you look at it, as I said, everyone should have their own philosophy, but not everyone has their own philosophy. So therefore, when someone project their philosophy externally, persons who does not have a philosophical interpretation or idea may do what they do, discriminate, criticize, not saying that they do not have a right to do, express themselves, criticizing. That's just typically what they do, right? And that is what gives you birth or breed up snakes, right? Because one person may not like that and they go hunt truth other persons to not like something that they don't even know anything about, right? So that's the idea of how philosophical instrument can be used. It can be used to manipulate in some cases. In many cases, it can be used to manipulate perspectives, right? But the truth is always, or should always, be analyzed in understanding what philosophical instrument is, right? Now the truth is also a tricky thing, because the truth can also be a philosophical instrument, right? Because the truth does what? The truth exposes lies, right? And lies shows what the truth is, right? So those are both two philosophical instruments, right? So with the realm of, in the realm of, smoke, mushrooms and so on, those are as well as higher realm that gives you different perspective as to the types of philosophical instrument and what it is used for, right? Because everything have purpose, but sometimes person just does not see purpose, and person who does not see purpose, they literally do not have a philosophical point of view or opinion, right? They always have a philosophy that is given to them, and what philosophy is given to them, that become their truth, right? That they project, right? So that's just the idea of what we call philosophical instruments. Now, philosophical instrument can let you see the best thing, and it can let you see the worst thing. It's just up to you and as to what you want to see. As for me, negativity is not something that I highlight. As to me, negativity is something that it shows that you are still in the dirt. You haven't even opened your eyes as yet. Right? As in reality, many persons claim to be awakened, but they are still asleep in reality, right? And even sleeping and awaken, those are two philosophical instruments. Can you imagine what a sleeping state can help you interpret, or what an awakened state can help you see? Right? That's just how the spectrum of philosophical instrument is very wide, right? In reality, it was written that everything is good, right? Everything is good, but it also have the advantage and disadvantage of what good is, right? So when you understand both concepts, you get to the understanding of what philosophical instruments are, right? Even though death is something bad, it is also something good as well, right? Because there's always a time to die and a time to live, and as you know, life and death, it is one side of the coin, right? It's just like sleep and awaken is just the other side of the coin, right? Many persons may ask or say that, when is the seventh day? And in many cases it can be looked at in various type of way, because I can say the seventh day is always when I take a rest. If I go and sleep tonight, that's my seventh day. If I go and sleep whenever, that's my seventh day. So that may give a little clarity as to the creation story being rest in God, rest in the seventh day, right? If I say now is my 7th day and I go and take a rest, nothing is wrong with that. That's just my 7th day, but that's misunderstood anyways. But it is also a key thing to understand the philosophical idea of reality. So the spectrum of philosophical instrument is very wide.